Hey everyone, today I'm going to be talking about the Grand Design 2400BH versus the 2800BH. I'm going to mainly be focused on the 2400BH and do a walk around and compare that to the 2800BH as we get to the differences. The fronts are the same with 20-pound propane bottles, power jacks, and the front storage compartment is the same on both of them. But when we get to the length and the weights, let's pause and look at that a second. Here's the biggest differences between the two. The 2400BH has a dry weight of 5,882 pounds, whereas the 2800 has 6,710 pounds. You may notice those numbers are different from what you look up on the Grand Design website, but these are the actual tags and what you can expect these trailers to weigh. They both have similar storage. 30 amp services on the 2400, 50 amp is on the 28. Here in the pass-through you can see the particle board on the aluminum frame. That's one thing to keep in mind when you're comparing other brands. Some use plywood, some use particle board. Now the slides on both will be different. The 2400 has a Schwintek system and a shorter slide, whereas the 2800 has a rack and pinion and a longer slide since it's carrying more weight, as we'll see inside. Tank sizes are going to be the same on both at 52 gallons fresh, 82 gallons gray, and 45 gallons black. And you can see the rear end is basically the same on both where the dump valves are. Both have ladder to get up and check your seals on the roof, and then you can see the plug for the power. Both have the same water heater and both have the same outdoor kitchen. Although on the newest models, the late 2021 models, Grand Design is removing the spray port right here. This one has it, so it's one thing to keep in mind is if you're looking for that spray port, some may not have them. The 2800 does have heavier axles than the 2400 obviously, but the outside kitchen here, as you can see, is identical on each, with a pull-out stove, storage here with an outlet, motion sensor lighting. I'm not a huge fan of these style stoves compared to Blackstones and other things like that on the market. And I really wish Grand Design would keep the sink and faucet in their kitchens, but I know this design they've been going with for a long time. A small cube fridge, as I call them, pretty basic and common in most bunkhouse travel trailers. Both have similar looking aluminum wheels, although they are upgrading or changing the design of those wheels for late 2021. Freshwater fill tank, your furnace, and here's another look at that enormous drop frame pass-through storage, which I personally think is one of the best in almost any travel trailer on the market. Here you can see the motion sensor lighting, that OSB on the aluminum framing. Obviously the lengths are different, with the 2400 coming in at 28 feet 11 inches and 32 feet for the other. The 2800 does have the second door into the bedroom. They both have the solid steps. I'm not a huge fan of these stairs. A lot of people do like them. It's just something you have to get used to with cleaning off. Stepping inside, we can take a long look at the 2400 and you can kind of see the differences in the overall openness and feel of the space. It's pretty open for such a small trailer, and natural lighting is pretty good. But let's take a look inside the 2800 to kind of see how much better and more open that one is. Here you can see just the abundance of natural light. Such a big open feel with that super slide. Obviously moving the fridge off of the slide and putting it in the campsite just really opens that up, allows for a lot more natural lighting in the space. Sitting on the couch, you got a great view of the pantrytainment system. You can see the fridge moved over. There's more counter space and more cabinetry in the 2800. Moving on down in the kitchen, you can see the large pots and pan drawer. The 24 has a pretty good pots and pan drawer too, but this one is quite a bit bigger. The fridge also has two mini drawers underneath it. Jumping back over to the 2400, take another look at the bunks, but then we'll also look at the slide out. This one has the dinette. You can get the dinette couch in it. You can see some storage. There is an ottoman. Show you a little clip on that here in a second. The bunks are the same. The lower bunk pad is thinner than the upper pad. I think one's 4 inches and one's 2 or something like that. The biggest difference is there's no vent in the 2400, and I'll show you the 2800 here in a second. Both have lighting and outlets. Both have the bottom folding bunk, which is also why that pad is thinner, I do believe. Looking at the 2800, you can see the theater seating. You can see the large sliding windows, roller shades, more huge windows above the dinette. Now that is a movable table, similar to what Rockwood and some other companies use. You can pull that out, you can lower it down. It is a little bit of a pain to get it folded down sometimes. Jumping back over to the bunks, you can see here's that large storage that is the same, a built-in ladder, which is a nice feature. A better look at the outlet and the motion lighting. Each has a nice big window with a blackout roller shade. You can see the thicker pad here. And there's that vent in the 2800. You can see USB chargers there as well. Moving on into the bathroom, both have good storage for towels and cubbies. I do wish they would use a Fantastic or Max Air vent fan like other brands do, such as Rockwood and Jayco in some areas. They have a porcelain foot flush toilet and the Nautilus shower door, which I don't know if I like that or not. I guess if you've used it, please comment. Sitting on the toilet, there's tons of toilet and leg room here. There's storage underneath the sink. Some storage here for toilet paper or something pretty narrow. The mirror is quite small, and there's not a whole lot of storage inside this corner cabinet, but it should be enough for most camping trips. You can see outlets and switches, which a lot of campers may not have switches, and so one thing to look at is a different price point of campers and some of these features that you kind of take for granted on Imagine lines and up. Spinning around here and taking a look at the 2800 pantrytainment, there's a shoe cubby, some coat hooks right inside the door, and then the control panel that has Grand Design's new wireless control with storage. Looking at the 2400, very similar, although the coat hangers are different for some reason. But coming in closer at the control panel, the Compass Connect is what they call it. There's a nice cubby that you could put hats and gloves in as you head out the door. They both have the motion sensor lighting as you first walk in. Another look at the Drunk Octopus hangers. Now there is a vent on the inside of this shoe cubby. I'm not sure how well it would work if shoes are piled up in there, but I guess it's hidden on the floor. Jumping back over to the 2800, again you can see inside the cubby space in there, and then just a sweeping look at the ceiling and all of the lighting that they put in both of these units. Both units have a skylight above the kitchen sink area. It's just a little bit different in the location. Jumping over to the pantrytainment system of both units, you can see this glass shelf. I'm not a big fan of this. I've read reviews where it pops down in transit. I guess comment on that if you've had experience with that or not. A little bit change in the 2021 design. These are storage cabinets with two nice drawers below. They did take out the hanging rod and removable shelf though. Here is the electrical and fuse panel, and then just a little bit of storage below that one. Again, this is the same on both 24 and the 2800 BH models. Continuing on in the kitchen in the 2400, you can see the counter space is a little bit less. Both have the same drop-in sink with glass surface. Both have outlets in the back, which is really great for coffee makers. Some are putting them in below the cabinets, which for short cords don't really reach very well. Here, I guess that doesn't move. We'll leave that there. Looking up at the microwave, a little storage space above it. Deep cabinets on this side. That would be good for plates and bowls. You can see it goes all the way back. And then the cabinet over top of the sink in both models is a little bit more shallow. I'd recommend doing cups and get those padded fabric containers you can put the cups in. Those seem to work really well. Both have the same sink and a large basin sink that is not split, and this kind of goofy rolling thing that you got to do it just right on the way so it falls apart. Spice rack, utensil drawers, pretty common stuff in both. And then they add this little corner cabinet here I'll get to that I'm not really sure you can fit in there, but I'm sure we'll cram something in there if you get this model. The 2400 has this pots and pans drawer, which is a nice feature. They both have a flip-up counter extension. You need to make sure to put that down when you put the slides in. You can see with it up, you can still easily get through the bedroom. Now moving over to amateur hour. Sorry, my phone got rotated here. Here's a pantrytainment. Here you can see the large drawer in the 2800. They only give you 4 pegs though. I don't know why they wouldn't give you more pegs since the drawer is twice the size as the 2400, but it is what it is, I guess. Another difference here is the cabinetry and the drawer configuration is a little bit different. The fridge is the same as the 2400, gas and electric 8 cubic foot. Here's those 2 different drawers that are on the bottom here. They give you this tray for really huge silverware if you like to eat really big food and need really big silverware, or wine. Women like wine. Grand Design's infamous pet drawer. They can come out if you don't want to use it for pets. It's just plastic. Here's a large cabinet that's under the sink. Kind of wish they'd be able to get a spot for a wastebasket. I wonder if the shelf could come out. You can probably cut it out. You can see quite a bit more counter space. Drawers on this side, whereas on the 2400 the drawers are underneath the sink and you do not have a spice rack. Better look at the large stainless steel undermount sink. The counter surfaces are a kind of like a laminate pressed edge. They are not a solid Corian surface like you'd find in the reflection line. The plate cabinet above this is obviously bigger because the countertop is also bigger, so that's a nice feature as well. I believe this cabinet, I assume this cabinet over the sink is the same. It is also shallow like on the 2400. One thing they both have are these roller shades. They're blackout shades. They're really nice. Kind of finicky coming down, but I think that would be a nice feature compared to the pleated shades that seem to wear out and fall down over time. Here's that cool bench ottoman that Grand Design gives you in these Imagine series. You can see it fits back there where you normally have the back of the booth. That's really too narrow to have anyone sit down. This is a great option, has storage in there. Kids can put their games and things in there, but then it can seat back under the bench if you want to do that for travel mode. We'll swing back over to the 2400 and finish up. The fridge is in the slide. This is an 8 cubic foot gas and electric fridge, Dometic in both campers. The 2800 has additional storage underneath. Moving on into the bedroom. The bedroom units are the same. I think Grand Design does a really good job with their bedroom and storage. Hanging storage in both sides. These drawers are a really nice feature on both sides. Great for putting in your unmentionables, snacks, hide stuff from the kids, sort of. Outlets on both sides. Large window for cross ventilation in the 2400. Now the 2800 will have a door on the other side, so you lose that cross ventilation window. Moving on, it's a little bit of a squeeze through here. It is a full queen bed, not a short camper queen bed. You can see this side is the same. The 21 models do add these side cubbies, which are great. They both have an outlet and USB chargers in them. The lights over the bed both go dim to blue and white. You can see overhead flip-up storage that stays in place, and a shot at the ceiling with a vent that is non-powered vent, and only a single air conditioned duct in here, which I would like to see additional one. TV backer location, register in the wall to blow your heat. Grand Design doesn't put any registers in the floor. The jury's out if that's great or not. They obviously seem to like it. Shopping around, test it, bring your toddler, give them some Cheerios, and see how quickly they fill up the vents with them. Now looking at the 2800 bunkhouse, the biggest difference is the TV location gets moved over on the driver's side, and you can see here is the door I mentioned that leads into this bedroom. That's really nice, so you don't have to walk by the bunks at night when the kids are sleeping. It also allows you full access to the camper when the slide is in. Now walking through here, I do feel that this space between the end of the bed is a little bit wider than in the 2400. I did not measure to know for sure, but it did feel a little less crowded walking through there. They also have the thermostat on the wall over there in the 2400. The 2800 is not in the bedroom. Cabinetry and storage is the same in both, and the beds flip up in both. I did not show it in the 24. Here's something new for 2021. They add this sliding storage tray inside the bed, and those tracks are aluminum in case anyone is curious. I thought maybe they'd be plastic when I first saw them. Here's the biggest difference, obviously, is the extra space, but with the extra space comes length and weight. This one is probably pushing the limits of what a lot of half tons want to do. Grand Design says the hitch weight is 604 pounds, but loaded up you're going to be easily 900 pounds or more on this, so you need to make sure your truck has enough payload to handle it. The 2400 Grand Design says 505 pounds, but that's most likely going to be over 7, maybe 800 pounds of tongue weight once it's all loaded, easily within the realm of most half-ton trucks given adequate payload. So thanks for watching, and hopefully this helps narrow down some of the differences between the two as you're deciding, just like we are.